All right, hello everyone. Hope you're doing well. Hi. So first of all, sorry for looking so tired. I don't honestly don't know why I look so tired these days. I don't know if it's the medication or something like that, or just me not knowing how to do basic skincare or something, right? But truly apologize for kind of looking so tired. Um, just want to kind of get into this one. Kate McKinnon, I was super wrong about her type. I just saw her completely upside down based on the guesses that I did. Um, and so I just wanted to briefly talk about that, talk through it, and then just kind of quickly, recap it. So let's just kind of get into it. I didn't do that many guesses. I'm trying to, I have a lot of stuff going on these days. So I'm limiting the amount of guesses that I'm doing. But still, I was super wrong about everything. So let's just kind of get into that. So first of all, spoilers if you don't know Kate McKinnon's type. So she's a visual TENE play blast consume sleep blast. So she's a very similar type to me actually. I'm actually an observer, play consume blast sleep, NETE. So, we're actually very, very similar, which might explain why I got her so upside down. I'm going to get into that. But first, let's get into the soft guesses and then we'll get into the hard guess. As you could see, like I said, I got nothing right. So I actually thought she was SF, which, how could I possibly gotten that so wrong? I was thinking she was something like an SIFE or something like that. And I think the reason I was getting those vibes was because she did a lot of the sighing game, right? So Dave and Shan talk about how the Savior Feelers do a lot of sighing talk, right? Like very much expressing emotions all up front. And in a lot of her interviews, she would do things like awe at the audience or sigh at the audience, or it felt very FE like, right, where she's doing this pinging back and forth with the audience emotionally. That's how it felt, and it felt like she was getting somewhat of a good reception. Now, one thing I would say that confused me though was she would do things that were so super inappropriate emotionally that I just didn't know how to handle it. Like, so she would put like her feet up on the desk of someone. I think it was like Jimmy Fallon or whoever, or no, it was Seth Meyers. So she would put her feet up on the desk during the interview. She would like spread her legs super super wide, right, while sitting down, and things like that. I I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if that's like demon SF humor or what it is. I know I used to do stuff like that, or I probably still do stuff like that. Let's first be honest. I probably still do stuff like that. I know that when I was younger, I would do random stuff like there was this one time I would like just randomly lay on the floor, like complete like lay down straight, on the floor while people were talking to me, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing, Reggie? Why are you on the floor randomly just asleep, right? So I would do stuff like that, and I don't exactly know why. I think it was partially me trying to make myself more comfortable in the space, but also trying to like any prove a point, right? Where it's like, okay, we don't have to have conversations in a traditional way, something like that. But anyway, so I got the SF temperament wrong, but also, or sorry, the feeling state wrong. As for the sensory, this is the one that I'm kind of surprised by, because when she would tell stories, it felt as though she was awfully specific. I mean, yes, she would use a lot of analogies as well, and maybe her being a decider covers some of that, right? Where she's doing a bit of double observing, so you're seeing both S and N pretty clearly. But I thought that she was very specific. Like, she specifically knows what she wants to do. If she weren't an actress, right? She wants to do, what was it, carpentry? I think it was carpentry. And she gets very specific about how she's managing her stuff at home. She's very specific about how she's raising her cat. She gets very specific about what role she plays. And I would say even like somewhat of her humor style feels like awfully specific to me, right? Where it's like she's getting into just like it's almost like um it's mocking things in the sensory world but that are actually happening, right? So it's like she's mocking how someone looks or she's mocking how someone talks. um maybe like as you can see right now I'm having trouble giving you sensory examples, so I apologize about that. But maybe that's just me not seeing what intuition really is. And that's probably the case. Truly don't see myself. So we're, I'll probably just kind of attribute it to that. Now, what I wanted to get into, which is kind of the more important one, so those are the soft guesses, right? That's me just saying, maybe it's this. I see some proof for it, but I'm not going to stand on it. Now, the one that I got really wrong was the energy versus info, because Kate McKinnon seemed very silly to me. She seemed like she didn't take things too seriously. She seemed like she was constantly joking, and the reason I did a hard guess was because I thought her life problems would come from her not taking things as seriously, right? Her giving I'm thinking specifically, for example, her on the Ellen DeGeneres show with Mila Kunis, where it's like, so for example, she offered to Ellen that they play a game where they're like, I can't even describe it. I feel so bad, but it's like with dental equipment. They're being very cheesy and silly, and like, she's drooling all over Ellen's cue cards and stuff like that. And Ellen, who's another sleep last, was getting kind of irritated with Kate McKinnon and her behavior, and I thought that was a sign that Kate McKinnon wasn't taking the information seriously and she would get in trouble in life because of that, right? Like, I mean, imagine if she started joking like that in a serious situation. So her being infodom quite surprised me. But I will say one thing I will say is that while typing this week, one of the things that came to my mind was, can I prove that she's not sleep last? That was a question that came to my mind, and I couldn't, right? So I think it might be a mistake for me to start doing hard guesses just for the sake of hard guesses. I need to only do hard guesses if I can prove she's not any other type. So that's kind of something that I am kind of considering moving forward. Also, with her being sleep last and being so silly, it kind of makes me think about myself a little bit, because again, we're kind of very similar types. I I feel like I am not that silly. I used to be. I don't know how else to word it. I mean, she's older than me, so I don't want to make it sound like I'm like so much more mature than her, or maybe she's more mature than me, right? She's learning how to do the energy dom thing. But I used to be way more of a jokester in school, especially. Very much a clown type, right? Comedian type, right? And I think people even in school was telling me that I would be a good comedian. So maybe that's just something to consider. Maybe it's just my temperament with the NE, that can be very silly at times. But anyway, that's something that I don't fully have a handle on. I don't fully see her as an infodom. I see kind of the energy dom game with her. And so I'm surprised that I was wrong about that. But I need to basically accept that and either process it or move on. So that's about it. I'm just going to keep this video relatively short. I got everything wrong, so it's kind of embarrassing. So right now, real quick, I'll just share this with you. So right now, I'm back to square one, right? So with my soft guesses, I'm only at about 50% accuracy, which is not good. I'm aiming for 70. And then for my hard guesses, I'm at 60. So I'm below the standard that I set for myself. So there's going to be no consulting services for a while, right? But that's about it. If you have any comments, feedback on how to see these types, feel free to let me know in the comments. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.